And now an update on a story we've been following since the very beginning. Wikileaks founder Julian Assange remains in legal limbo, held up in the Ecuadorian Embassy in London as he awaits a response to his request for political asylum. On Thursday, the British police requested that Assange hand himself over to authorities so that they may be the extradition process to Sweden. However, Assange rejected the request and remains safely behind the walls of the embassy. The spokesperson for his defense fund, Susan Ben, came out with this statement today.
Asylum assessments take priority over extradition claims. The issues faced by Mr. Assange are serious. His life and liberty and the life and liberty of his organization and those associated with it are at stake. The United States government has instigated a grand jury against Julian Assange and other founders or managers of Wikileaks. Australian diplomats have described this investigation as being unprecedented scale in nature.
Just to refresh your memory about why Assange is being extradited in the first place. He's being called to Sweden for questioning over allegations of sexual abuse. But let me remind you, in Sweden, consensual sex without a condom falls under this umbrella. And that, not rape or anything else, is what is being pursued here. What's more, no charges have actually been placed against him as of now. It's only the questions that Swedish authorities want answered. So what is the big deal? Well, Sweden has close relations with the U.S. The American government has been actively pursuing Assange for his role in releasing hundreds of thousands of classified military documents, as well as the collateral murder documentary. Many say that sending Assange to Sweden is essentially handing him over to the U.S., a country eager for his blood. The former senior executive of the NSA, Thomas Drake, spoke with RT about the political implications of this asylum plea for Ecuador, the U.S., and Julian Assange. Take a look.
It's critical to state that he has not been charged with anything. He faces grave danger in terms of his personal well-being. And so he's safest right now inside the Ecuadorian Embassy in London. They're clearly being very careful in terms of that, the formal application for political asylum, and I'm probably considering all the options. I also, just based on public reporting, there's been tremendous pressure being put on the Ecuadorian government by the United States not to grant him asylum. I believe he is the world's #1 whistleblower, and I certainly identify with him, having been a whistleblower myself here in the United States of America. One of the things that's critical to understand is that the powers that be don't like whistleblowers, and if in the post 9/11 security world, they generally go after them with a very heavy hand. And I was charged on the Espionage Act, and it's clear based on public reporting that they're looking for ways in which they can charge him under the Espionage Act. The difference is I was a U.S. citizen. I faced 35 years in prison. He's not a U.S. citizen, and there's been calls in his case for the death penalty. One of the interesting dynamics that I certainly experienced is you end up becoming a caricature, and you're painted in a certain way. I was painted as a traitor and a turncoat and one who betrayed my country. And the focus becomes the person and not the message. And this is one of the classic techniques in dealing with whistleblowers, is you find everything you can basically you engage in the politics of personal destruction, and you avoid the more uncomfortable discussions regarding the actual messages that are being brought out or brought forth, or even what was revealed or disclosed. There's been tremendous pressure being put on the Ecuadorian government by the United States not to grant him asylum. And there's probably certain political levers that they've been exercising behind the scenes in an attempt to influence the Ecuadorian government. I can't speak to all the details and other connections and other organizations that Ecuador is a part of, but it's clear that there's significant political pressure being placed on them back channel not to grant asylum, and that there could be penalties for doing so.
That was Thomas Drake, former senior executive for the NSA, and we'll continue to follow this case as it develops, so stay tuned.